Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to this next episode on depression help. I think it's 6, but I got it wrong last time, so maybe I'm wrong again. I hope you're all doing well, or at least okay, hanging in there, or maybe you're good, which is even better. Sorry it's taken me a little while to put up the next episode. I've kind of decided that I'm going to focus more on these videos and the car videos once I start them, and probably do Rookie Entrepreneur maybe just once a month or something just now. I think there'll probably be more people watching them, and they'll get more interesting as I get further on, kind of thing. So and a few people have said that they're finding these episodes helpful, so I think it's good to focus on what's most helpful. So I'm gonna try and do one of these a week, and I said try, so I might not manage that, but I'm gonna try and certainly do them a lot more frequently. So I thought today we could talk about medication. I think I said, like, I was first diagnosed with depression when I was 16, and I was put on fluoxetine, and I was only on it for a few months, and then there was there was kind of some resistance to me being on it. Don't really need to say what, but I think it was probably helpful. And then I think I said in another episode that I think it was 2010, I was diagnosed with ME, and then I started taking fluoxetine again for that, and I was really reluctant to start taking meds again. And I'm not exactly sure why, but maybe it's a stigma thing, I'm not sure. But I was really reluctant, but I did take them, and then after like 27 days or something, I totally felt a kick in and kind of felt alive again. And I think I've said this, and basically realized that it wasn't ME, it was just depression, and they have some, a lot of very similar symptoms, including depression. So basically then I was on that for probably the best part of 10 years, maybe a bit longer than that, although off it for periods, and good. Wasn't on anything when I went into my first church. I wasn't on anything when I went into my second church, and things were good in both for quite some time. I don't really want to talk about that because that's not particularly good for me. But basically, the point that I want to get over in talking about medication is that there's nothing wrong with taking medication. And I think I said as well that I take my meds in the morning with my vitamins. I also have to take sleeping pills right now as well, which I probably would like to be able to get away from that if I can. But right now, to be honest, after years of not doing well, not being as well, and being really bad, reaching the point of breakdown, I'm not really wanting to mess with anything right now. I'm just, I've got so much catching up to do, because 4 years of, where everything seemed to go wrong, or pretty much just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong. It feels good to be kind of on the up again, and able to be highly productive again. So yeah, I'm not going to mess with anything right now. So when I think it was about 2014, a doctor friend reckoned that the fluoxetine wasn't really working anymore, because he reckoned I was quite depressed. That was when I was on holiday, and usually I do feel happier when I'm abroad. So then I tried an SNRI, so Fluoxetine's a SSRI, which I said briefly, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So basically inhibits the reuptake of serotonin, so there's more kicking about in your brain. In a really simple explanation, I don't really want to try and explain any further, because I'm not really qualified to do that. So venlafaxine's an SNRI, so that works on serotonin and noradrenaline, or norepinephrine, I think some people call it. So that's a different brain chemical. Unfortunately, that didn't work well for me at all, and it was pretty bad coming down off it, and then waiting for the fluoxetine to work again. So I asked my GP if I could go back on fluoxetine, but going on a higher dosage, because I think I'd been on a 40, and then I went on to 60, and then I was good at 60. So that was good. And then managed to get off, so that would have been before my first charge. Managed to get off completely, was off completely and good for some time before that. Then back on fluoxetine at some point during the first one, and then wasn't on anything at the start of the first one, then back on fluoxetine at some point during the second one, and then basically, ironically, I made it through the first lockdown without any meds. I was off meds and was doing well, was in the best shape of my life, probably up until now. I'm probably in better shape now, but at that point that was the best shape of my life. But I did find it very difficult. I found it very difficult being in a big house in however many acres of land on my own, and I really didn't think I could cope with another lockdown on my own. So basically, and that was when things kind of, I suppose, maybe a little bit before the pandemic, but that was when things started to really go downhill. And there'd been a lot of stresses and problems and things that I don't want to get into right now, over a long period of time related to work. But that was when things really started to go downhill. And so meds wise, I think I asked to try a different one, because I'd been on the max of fluoxetine, so it seemed to make sense to me to try a different SSRI. So then I took sertraline, and that was really effective at half the maximum dose, which I think is 50 milligrams. Don't quote me on any of that. Again, not a mental health professional, just a lay person talking about their own experience. So yeah, I think 50 was like half the maximum, was really good on that. And then other things happened that, work-related things that made me feel worse. And then I ended up on the max of that, and then that wasn't working either. So I kind of thought it was that the meds were stopping working. So, but actually it was just that things were that bad that even that, wasn't enough to counteract how badly I was feeling, basically. So that was sertraline. And then I asked to try, so when I maxed out on that, I asked to try a tetracyclic. I can't remember which one. Tetracyclic means it works on 4 brain chemicals, and I'd never tried a tricyclic or a tetracyclic. So and that basically was good on, it was beneficial at the starting dose, but when I went up it made me feel quite aggressive, and I'm not in general an aggressive person. It takes quite a lot to put me into an aggressive state, and you need a lot of patience to deal with drunk people and I've not punched anyone yet. So I think so then at this point I was still thinking that they were stopping working. So then I knew that citalopram was one of the fastest acting SSRIs, and so I asked to try citalopram. And then so that was, I think when, so that was around about the point when I actually, when I completely broke down, and I think I underestimated how long it would take me to come back from what I'd been through. I was kind of thinking that, I can just finish that on that day and then start over from this day, start focusing on my YouTube channel, restore these 4 golfs in a really short period of time, which if it was me now, the way I am right now, then I could have done that stupidly difficult task. But there was no way that was ever going to happen then. But I was just so desperate to leave, to get away and to start over. So, and I also just didn't know where I wanted to be, didn't know what I wanted to do, was feeling very lost. So, but I did know that, I feel a lot better when I'm abroad, and that was why I was kind of craving going abroad, I think. And I still would like to live abroad. Anyone who knows me knows that, because, I did talk about that when they're like, oh, so what's your plans? Although at the minute I'm like kind of thinking, I'm trying not to get involved in anything too permanent or too big here, because I'm planning on going abroad. But then I'm kind of starting to think, oh, that's a good opportunity there. Fortunately that's the way my brain works, and I'm like, I can see an opportunity there. So then I'm starting to think, oh, maybe I could spend like most of my time abroad and still have stuff here. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I definitely fancy living somewhere where it's warm all year round, and I can go to the beach every day, and I can start over in a new place where I'm just me and not me who was this or that or the other. So meds, losing my train of thought again. I also noticed from watching back other videos how often like I make a statement because I'm going to make a point and then forget to make the point. So and I've noticed I do it in conversation as well, so I'll just come out with some like random fact and people must be like, what the heck? So I was talking about meds, I was talking about Tricyclics, citalopram, completely broke down. So yeah, that was when my family paid for me to see a psychiatrist, and so he put me on, basically wanted me to get straight up to the maximum dosage of citalopram as fast as possible, and got me onto quetiapine, which is actually an antipsychotic, and that wasn't because I had or have had. I'm fortunate. I've never had any kind of psychosis or symptoms of psychosis or anything like that. But it was basically because it's good for. It has an antidepressant effect, and it's also good for sleep. So I was taking it at night, and I actually still am at a really low dosage. That's what I'm taking to help me get to sleep. So for psychosis, you'd be, again, don't quote me on this, but 150 milligrams, 200 milligrams, 300 milligrams, something like that. The dosage is quite high. Quetiapine is widely used for several other things, but one of the things is people that are having difficulty sleeping, because even at 25 milligrams, it's pretty good at knocking you out. And I'm on 50. I was on 100, but I cut it down to 50. I tried cutting it out completely and then didn't sleep for 4 days. So, yeah, if I'm gonna try and do that again, it'll need to be when I'm on holiday for a month or something. So, and that seemed to be a pretty good combination. That kind of got me out of the doldrums. Along with, like I've said in other videos, all the things that you need to do. You need to do all the right things. You need to know what the right things to do are. As I said in other videos, like, there isn't a magic pill that will fix everything. It takes intention, it takes effort, and using techniques, and these are the techniques that I'm sharing, in these videos, and will continue to share. So that was good, and then I wasn't convinced it wasn't as good an effect as when I'd been on fluoxetine when it worked, or sertraline when it worked. And a helpful insight from the psychiatrist was that rather than the meds stopping working, what was actually happening was that the depression was so severe that they weren't enough to counteract it. So that made me think, well, if that's the case, then um, the med I've been on for the longest, it's been very, very effective until it wasn't, was fluoxetine. So I basically asked if I could go back onto that, and my initial suggestion was just that without the quetiapine to make me sleep. But he wasn't too keen on that. So basically, went on to fluoxetine, started at 20, went up to 40, which is what I'm taking just now. And that's what I was on for a long time. So basically, that's probably the reason why I'm, the best I've been for probably since however many years it was that I was on fluoxetine and it was working. So it kind of sucks that you're like, or when I wasn't on anything and I was good, it kind of sucks to think like, that's like 4 or 5 years or something, that I haven't been my full self, and that I haven't felt happiness very much and things like that. So, but there's no point in dwelling on what was, and the way you've always got to try and find the positive and see the positive, and the positive is being thankful that I am where I am now, so basically, that in a nutshell is adventures with medication, and could I come off them completely at some point and be okay again? I don't know. I really don't know. If I had to take them forever, would I feel bad about it? Not even a little bit. Absolutely not. As I keep saying, not any more than if I had high blood pressure. If your brain doesn't fire properly on its own and it needs meds to help, messages get from one neuron to the other or whatever, then that's what it needs. So it's not weak. It's not bad. It doesn't artificially make you happy. It helps to make your brain do what it's supposed to do. And if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, then I'm not saying, as I have said, it is important to do all the right things. But as I said before, I think for me at least, there's a point I can get to where there's no way out of it without your brain working properly, and trying to make your brain work properly when you're that bad. For me, I don't think that's possible personally. So, yeah, I think that yeah, if you do have depression, if you've taken a survey and you took the test that I talked about or a different one, speak to your GP or NHS 24. I think still have psychological wellbeing practitioners. Talk to somebody about it, and don't feel bad about taking medication. It doesn't matter what kind of medication it is. Doesn't matter whether it's for your brain. It doesn't matter whether it's for your stomach, whether it's for your heart, what it's for. It's all just medication. So if that's going to help you, then great. I don't think anyone particularly wants to be dependent on medication. I'd certainly prefer it if I didn't take anything other than my vitamins in the morning, but I definitely don't feel bad about it, and there's no reason why I should. I'm not weak. I'm probably one of the strongest people you'll ever meet, and yeah, when I think what I've come through, it's not weak. It's and there's people who've been through even worse. So just, yeah, if that's what's recommended to you, then don't feel bad about it. And if you struggled for a while and you haven't spoken to a psychiatrist, then I'd highly recommend that, because even if you have to pay for it, you can get a consultation for probably £200 or £300 for a good psychiatrist. I'm not saying ones are cheap or aren't good, but you can get a good one for that. And even if it's just to get the correct diagnosis, or you know, they can write to your GP and ask them to prescribe you stuff that GPs won't. I mean, a GP wouldn't decide to prescribe you citalopram and quetiapine together, or, you know, various other combinations of pills that I don't even know about that psychiatrists would know about and might be helpful to you. So GPs are brilliant, and as I've said before, I've always been so lucky with the GPs that I've had, and they know a lot about a lot of different things. But if you're struggling with your mental health in any way, then it's definitely worth speaking to somebody who has made that their life's work, you know, and that's what they've spent years and years specializing in and learning about. And it's definitely worth spending the money on yourself if you know, if you can't get it through the NHS. I don't know what the latest waiting times are for anything. I was fortunate that I took out Bupa during the pandemic because I kind of saw what was going to happen with waiting times, which didn't help me for depression stuff because it's pre-existing, but I did end up getting knee surgery on it and things like that would have been probably a lot longer. So anyway, I'll stop waffling. So I hope that just talking openly about medication and the fact that I've taken it and I take it and I don't feel bad about it doesn't mean I'm crazy. Just means that that's what I need to do right now. And yeah, I hope it's helpful to you, you know, if you felt reluctant about it for some reason, which is probably because of stigma. I hope that, yeah, just as I've said, when I first started talking about this sort of stuff openly, just to be a small part of, you know, attacking the stigma about mental illness and people automatically hearing crazy. So I hope you're at least okay, and if not, then I hope you're good. If you're, you know, if you're really struggling, then hang in there. Been there many times, and it is true that you don't know what's around the corner, and there's lots of cliches, but yeah, I could have given up at several points, and I'm glad I didn't. So yeah. So, and yeah, if you are struggling, then talk to a mental health professional. And there's lots of books that are helpful as well. I'm sure there are other people as well who talk on YouTube about stuff like this. Haven't actually looked for any, but yeah, just do what you need to do and be kind to yourself. So thanks for watching. If you find this helpful, I'm trying quite hard to get, well, I'm not really actually, it's not true. I was trying quite hard to get subscribers last year when I was doing my car thing, or more of my car thing, but it would be great to get to 1,000 subscribers, because that means I could use all of the tools on the platform. So for example, one of the things that would be really helpful is I can put up a poll, and then subscribers could vote on a poll of, for example, something that would be helpful to talk about on depression help. So so yeah, if you do find it helpful, then consider subscribing to my channel. I don't currently make any money out of it, and I'm not particularly worried about making any money out of it in the short term. And if I do, it would probably be because of car videos and not just these wee videos about depression. So yeah, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.